All right, my new agent friends, let's get into this. We've got to talk about how to master a lead source, a lead type, so that you can ensure your success and longevity in this business. In the previous video that I did, I talked about the riddle, and that's an incredibly important video for all of you to watch so that we can figure out what you are naturally gifted at, what you're good at, what's going on, what can we, leverage from you, and then there's the market, and then there's all your options. Okay, so please watch the riddle video. Then let's dive into this one where I need to address the framework, which is the framework to master any lead type. So, for example, if you were to jump on a team and that team was to say, hey, we've got Zillow Flex, so we're going to give you Zillow leads. Or the team says, hey, we've got tons of listings, and so you can do tons of our open houses, and you're like, great. Or if they're like, hey, we've got this huge database, and we've got all of these, 10,000 leads in our database, and, they're from everything from listing leads to, pay-per-click leads to Facebook leads to open house leads. Get after it. Go convert some of those leads. Or you're like me when I was a brand new agent here in San Diego and I joined my wife and father-in-law's team. Now I was a coach, I was a trainer for 17 years already. So I pretty much knew what I was doing, but I still also was like, man, okay, so I got to make a decision about a lead type, and then I got to go all in and create income and momentum and success with a specific lead source. Because if I'm testing and trying too many, I could literally go broke. It could take, 6 months of testing and trying too many. So let's dive into what I've constructed as the framework. Now, what do I mean by the framework? See, for those of you that we've never met, I ran at my dad's company a great program called the Prospecting School. And inside the prospecting school, what would happen is I'd have real estate agents from all over the country, all over the world, who'd come in and spend 2 days with me. And we had this huge facility set up, and I'd give them a desk and a headset and a phone. And then they had the opportunity to call their leads back in their marketplace to try and book appointments. So I had 5,000 real estate agents over the 4 years that I did this come in, and they had all the different lead types. They had everything from expireds to internet to Zillow to open house to lead follow-up to you name it. Every single, whatever, it doesn't matter. Every lead type. So as I was looking at each lead type, then I would have some of the absolute best agents in the world, and then I'd have the brand new agent. And so I've got incredible, and so I literally just got to sit there, observe what the best in the world were doing, what tools, what scripts, what skills, what mindsets, what ways of behavior, what strategies, what's tactics. I got to observe everything. And inside that process, I realized, oh my gosh, there really is a framework to master a lead source. So in this video, I just want to break that framework down for you, my wonderful new agent in the business, because when either A, your broker, your manager, the latest coach or trainer that you talk to, and or your team leader and or the team that you went on or whatever, whoever they say, hey, this is the one, this is what we do. And you're like, all right, and you're putting your financial future on the line for their advice. I'm going to give you the framework so that you can actually see all of the components that you need to put into place to ensure your success with that lead source. And I don't care which one it is. So let's review this for you so that you can see this from the right perspective. Because I promise you, most of the training you're going to get is, here's the script. Here's exactly what you should say. Hey, look, here's what I did. Or, hey, here's the script book. And they just throw it on your desk and they're like, here's the script. There's the phone. Good luck, kid. You are on your own, which is the classic sales line that's been there for 30 years. Okay. So let's get into the framework. Step number 1 is understanding the customer's mindset about what you're offering and your service. For example, let's take open house. So put yourself into the shoes of a buyer who's attending an open house. What are their thoughts, perceptions, attitudes, psychology about you, the realtor who is representing the open house? See, what I learned is if I can get you to think a little bit about putting yourself in the shoes of the lead type that you're about to call, you're about to send a message to, you're about to email, you're trying to convert. If I could put you into their shoes and experience what it's like being them. And then the second thing is, well, what is their general fears? What are their perceptions? And then, of course, what would they value from you? What would they want? What would they be delighted by? What questions do they have that if you answered them, it would be really fantastic? What do they not know that if you could bring that knowledge to them, they would actually be surprised and delighted from you? What actually are they interested in? What do they want to know from a real estate agent inside of this very specific scenario? What was their expectation of their experience with you, and or what would they like to get from you? See, when I did a super deep dive into the mindset of the buyers and sellers in the marketplace, it opened the whole game for me. When I walked into their shoes, right, which is this whole concept of empathy, walk in your customer's shoes, see what they see, feel what they feel, experience what they feel, understand the fears that they have, understand the concerns, understand what they want, their aspirations, their goals, their dreams. Honestly, when I nailed that, when I teach that, when I got every lead type in every scenario in the industry, when we nailed that, the what to say, the script, the phone call, everything got really easy. It's kind of fun, a little bit harder work, but you can see that no one's talking about this stuff, and that's the game, okay? Step number 2 is your mindset. You, what's going on in there? See this little thing here? What's going on between these ears? So when I say to you, hey, here's a really good lead type. This is going to make you a lot of money. You're going to do really well with this. What's going on between here, with you? Are you like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't understand this. I don't think this is going to work in my market. How does that even work? It's not going to work for me. It's not going to, I don't see it working. See, I promise you, if you are running a series of what I refer to as negative thoughts about the lead type, and you start forming some limiting beliefs about what's possible, if you've got some stuff going on in your head about that, I can give you literally the perfect script, the perfect strategy, everything, and you'll probably fumble it. You probably won't produce a result. So you need to get your head clear and figure out. This is why I started step 1 is walk in their shoes. Figure out what they value, what they would appreciate, how you can serve them, understanding the value of your service, because I need to clear your negative out and fill it with you making a difference, adding value, making it a good experience, really trying to help, support, be an advisor, not be a sales agent, not trying to get them, I feel like such a vampire. I'm just trying to get people, right? Okay, so let's go. Number 3 in the framework. Okay, you can see once I cleared out the first two, pretty much results went off the shelf in every lead type from that point forward. Number 3 is skills, what you say. See, of course, your skills, like, like the average trainer out there is saying, oh, you really need to get rapport and this is really important. You're like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, wow, that's amazing. You mean that I should actually be able to get a little bit of rapport with a stranger? Like, duh. Like, it's not that complicated. Of course you should have rapport. If you haven't learned how to get rapport with strangers and create conversation with strangers, ask high quality questions with strangers about your product that you're selling, the service, or about the topic of that, then yeah, you're not even in the game yet. See, skills, communication skills, right? Questions, objections, concerns, closes. There's all kinds of advanced skills. I don't need to cover that. There's 400,000 script training. There's 4,000 other videos on the topic of skills. You're going to find the majority of the training is on scripting and skills. So get after it. You do need to learn communication skills, and you do need to learn the series of questions. My father said it most brilliantly. A powerful script is simply a series of open-ended questions that guides the conversation to the desired end result. That, my friend, if you can actually understand what he's saying and you look across the entire industry, if they're not following that fundamental principle, then don't follow them, because that's really what it's about. This isn't about me. It ain't about getting them. It's about having a beautiful conversation about what they want, our product that we're serving, and how to help people get what they want. That's it. Skills. Number 4, let's go. Number 4 is critical, and I'm going to say it is the understanding of the numbers of that lead type. Now, what do I mean by this? Okay, this is, a big topic. In the coaching world, we deal with the numbers. We track numbers and we understand the numbers. But as a lead generation coach for so many years, I started to see the numbers of all the different lead types. A very simple example of this would be the difference between if someone said, hey, I'm really good at getting appointments with a for sale by owner. In my mind, I'm like, getting an appointment with a for sale by owner is super easy. They want you to come over and sell the home. So if you actually had a conversation with them and you didn't say anything too stupid, they would invite you over. Now, number 2. Number 1 is a call to appointment. But number 2 is appointment to contract signed. See, appointment to contract signed with the for sale by owner is actually very difficult. So contrast those numbers to, let's call it an expired or canceled listing. A conversation, so to actually get a conversation with an expired is very difficult. So if someone said to me, hey Patrick, I set a lot of appointments with expireds, I would be super impressed, because I know how difficult that is. See, I understand the difficulty of that. Now, the listing appointment to conversion with expired is actually really good. So let's contrast these two to help you understand the numbers. See, when I looked at the 2 different lead sources, a phone call to a for sale by owner, the call to conversation ratio is really good. The phone call to expired conversation, really poor. You literally have to call 100 phone numbers in an hour with expireds to talk to maybe 5. I can call 7 for sale by owners and talk to 4 or 5 within the first 30 minutes. The numbers. I can go on 10 for sale by owner appointments and maybe get 2 listing contracts signed. If I went on 8 expired appointments, I'd probably get, if I went on 10 expired appointments, I'd probably get 8 contracts signed. See, each lead source has a different number variation. Now, with all of you that may be looking at internet leads, Facebook lead ads, the conversion rate is literally below 1%. Pay-per-click, Google pay-per-click leads, the good agents are up into the range of the 2 to 4%. If you have realtor.com leads, right, you are in the 5 to 7%. If you are really good with Zillow leads, you're going to be in the 7 to 10% ratio. So there you go. Because I understand the numbers, the ratios, now you understand how this game is played. See, if you don't understand the numbers, or if your broker or your coach or your trainer or whoever's telling you, hey, this is how you're going to make a lot of money, or the company who's trying to sell you a bunch of bullshit leads and just trying to steal money out of your pocket, just say, hey, what are the conversion ratios? What are they? And if they don't know, and then call 5 or 6 people who are doing it and say, what are your ratios? What are your numbers? How does it work? See, that's what you got to do. You got to understand the numbers. And what I found is so many people completely bomb it here because very few people are talking about it. The framework to master any lead source. Let's go. Next, number 5. Number 5 is the tool set that you need to master. For example, so some of them, like, let's say I was going to take on any one of the lead sources, and they were to say, hey, here's the software service provider, X company. Here is maybe the CRM. Here's the follow-up system that we use. What I find is, this is the software tool set. This is the service providers. What I find is a lot of agents don't learn it. You guys skip it like it doesn't matter. You don't create a relationship with the software service company. You don't do the training. You don't learn the tools. You don't learn how to be efficient with those tools. And what I found is high successful agents, they create great relationships, masterminds with those companies, meet all of the most successful agents, figure out what they do, how they do it. Then they go implement all of the right training, learn the tool set, and master the tool set. See, what I find is most agents, they half-ass it with the training on the tool set or the company, and then the whole thing falls apart even though you had a good mindset and you had really good skills. But because you didn't do the training, you didn't know how to kind of organize the systems to be able to perform at a high level. Okay, huge mistake. Master that, this game you win big. Okay, next, so let's go. Number 6 is the schedule. What is the ideal schedule for you to be able to give enough time to master this lead type? See, if you break down the lead type for a new agent, you've got a lot of work to do. You got to learn the scripting. You got to learn the skills. You got to learn the software. You got to do research on the market. You've got to follow up on leads. You got it's like you're still doing training on all this other stuff that you're learning. So really mapping out a schedule that actually works for you, that makes sense. See, I call it the lead generation ideal weekly calendar. So when are you going to give the time to this lead source all the different things that you need to spend time on so that you can build enough momentum to be able to be successful with it. See, you've got to look at your calendar and be more realistic or conservative about how much time you need to dedicate to create mastery of one lead type. Critical. Last two things. Let's make sure that number seven, I want you to set a financial goal for the lead type. I know this sounds interesting. It's like, I was talking to my brother Tom, and I'm a coach for Tom Ferry, and he's one of the greatest real estate trainers on the planet. And I was telling him about the framework, and he was like, well, I would start with the goal. And I said, I know you would, but I don't like to start there. I need to get you to this point to where now it's time for me to set the goal. And so he was like, yeah, that's cool. That makes sense, but he always let's start with the financial number in mind. But the problem is you guys all set these financial goals based upon complete bullshit reality. Okay? And so, Tom is in total agreement with me. He's like, you're absolutely right. Like, if you don't understand the numbers and you don't have a schedule, and we're not, really looking at, the skill development and your mindset, he was like 100%, of course, right? So that's why I leave it at the end, is because the reality is if you master one lead source, you should be able to create a business plan that says, my goal is to make X amount of income within the next 6 months to 12 months with this lead source, and then kind of write out the plan, maybe have a one-page business plan. I love the Tom Ferry business plan because we actually have a lead type business plan, and we have goals per lead source. And so that's one of the brilliant things about the Tom Ferry business plan. But as a new agent, if you're going to commit your financial life for the next year, it's not just throw this number out at the window. You need to really look closely. What is a conservative amount of income that you can make by mastering this one lead source? And you have to really get aggressive with that. Okay? This is the biggest mistake I see in the industry. I made the mistake myself. I came in, I had every option on the planet, and I was like, oh, I'll do a little this, a little that, a little this, a little that, a little this, a little that, a little this, a little that. 6 months later, I'm like, shit, I haven't sold a house yet. And my wife's like, why don't you just do what you're really good at? And I was like, that's a good idea. And I did the one thing, and I started selling houses because I was trying too much stuff versus just being all in on something and really digging in deep, because that's what it takes to be successful long-term in this business. Okay. Last thing I would say is don't be distracted with all of these concepts that you hear. You got to be the listing agent, listing. Of course, of course I want listings, but that does, who cares? I just like commission checks. I don't know about you guys. So when you watch my riddle video, okay, and I'm going to link to that at the end here. So if you haven't watched that video, you must watch that video, because it doesn't matter what lead type it is. It doesn't matter if it's a listing or if it's a buyer. If you're new to this business, you need commission checks, okay? And it doesn't matter if it's on the listing side or the buy side. So don't let this industry, you hear all this industry jargon going on about oh, you gotta have listings, and everybody's like, well, I'm the listing agent. I'm so cool. I'm a listing agent. Who cares? I like commission checks. I need money, right? I want to help people. I just want to sell homes. Do you have an aversion? If I said, hey, here's a buyer commission check, you just don't want it because you prefer to have a listing commission check? Do you really care? So please, that thing that's going on all over the industry, oh, listing agents are the cool people. Those are the cool kids, all the listing agents. No, right? Okay, wherever you're at, help families buy and sell and invest in real estate. Be a real estate advisor. Please help me to level up the professionalism of this industry by you being an amazing person who knows how to help families and friends and single people and whoever buy homes and sell homes. Who cares which one it is? Doesn't matter. You're a new agent. Your job is to pick well, go all in, master the framework, get in this thing deep, and let's help you to become one of the ones that actually survives the first 12 months to 18 months. And when you get past the 18-month mark, and what I noticed even for me, once I kind of got past 30 sales, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I know some things. I'm kind of confident now. It took me about 30 sales before I was actually confident. So whatever it takes for you to get, some of you might get that done in five months. You're a lot smarter and more talented than me. I'm kind of, like, whatever. Like, it took me 30 to kind of be like, I think I kind of know what I'm doing now with the contracts, with the listings, with buyers, with sellers. Like, I was like, yeah, like, I'm pretty cool, right? Got my swagger on, right? That took me about, 2 years for me to get that done. Like, I'm a slow learner. I don't know. Maybe I'm not motivated, whatever. Okay, so don't be distracted with all of these like, oh, I did, 40 sales in my first year. Don't be distracted by any of that noise. Okay, don't compare yourself to others. Get focused on what it's going to take to have you pick the right 1 or 2 lead sources, go all in, master those lead sources, secure yourself financially in this business, so that you can, long-term, have this beautiful career called real estate. Okay? It's an amazing career. So, welcome my new agent friends. Let me know if I can help. All my contact details are down below. And jump into my playlist. You're going to see I'm covering a lot of each one of the different lead types, trying to break it down for you guys to give you the framework. My playlists aren't perfect, but you're going to see a lot more specific content on each aspect of the framework in each one of those playlists. So enjoy. Let's get rocking. Let me know how I can help you.